Blue Ribbon Committee meeting. And all are present except for Dr. Jordan. And hopefully he'll join us. The first agenda item is approval of the minutes. Since we just received the minutes, shall we wait till the next meeting?
I think that would be appropriate.
These minutes were done by Nancy Taylor. So y'all know, I just put it on,
Oh, they were? Oh,
Yeah, she just put it over on
I just put it on,
Maybe somebody,
letterhead.
I need to read them over then.
should we then take a moment?
I just have a few suggestions. I prefer my name to be written as William.
Okay,
and
I
BJ
thought of that when I wrote it down.
in quotation marks. And AM should always be lowercase, A period, M period, like it's at the top. And then also when you put people's, like it's the St. John's River State
Hold on, I'm
College.
trying to keep up with you.
Oh, no, the St. John's River State College president, Joe Pickens, I would just not put the comma. If you're putting it in front of his name, you wouldn't put the comma, you just say St. John's River.
Okay.
It just makes it, because the commas you want to separate so that you can see who everybody is.
Okay, I like commas.
Yeah. I mean, commas are bad. But besides that, everything looks,
Any other comments on the minutes? Is there a motion for approval?
I move they be approved with the correction of it.
Second. Thank you, John. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
So the minutes are approved. John, any update on your school report?
Well, I haven't talked directly with the school, but in relation to our relation to the law firm that we're using, we as a committee, when we met with Charlie Douglas, we were concerned about the relationship with Don Holmes and his firm. And we asked Charlie to,
you might want to say, what, because Don Holmes is the city attorney, he represents the city, he also represents the school board, the school district, so, or the school board.
and we asked Charlie to call Don Holmes, and he did that. And explained the situation. Don Holmes is 100% on board and understands and appreciated that we reached out to him.
That's good. That's
So
right.
we might want to ask. Sounds like a trivial thing, but not really. No one wants to be taken for granted. When we do these kind of things down the road, it can be very positive. So now, I'd like to bring up the subject of asking for funding from the state regarding the acquisition of the Miller Intermediate School. My question is, do we have time to do that in this budget cycle? Or should we wait until the 2026 budget cycle? We should discuss that soon, within this meeting. But I do say this, if we think we can accomplish it soon, the following will be necessary. The request will have to be a part of the city's request. And it would need to be completed soon. If we wait much longer, we'll be in the committee reports, or they will be, and we might be just too late to. Now, Mayor Myers has given me the paperwork to be filled out. Someone who's familiar with this type of request will need to fill it out. Perhaps our interim manager, Michael, with Commissioner Lurie, perhaps they could do it. If not, maybe the Grant City writer, Grant writer, Fred Fox. J.R. Newbold, our county commissioner, said if we need further assistance, he might have someone at the county office that might advise us. Now, if we decide we want to proceed now, in order to assist those filling out the paperwork, we should talk about what we're asking for. Needs wise, in other words, what are we really asking for? And then the amount of money that we're requesting. So, I suppose the first thing we should decide is talk about is, do we want to try to attempt it in this budget cycle or wait?
My feeling is that, the timing is now. I mean, we still have time. I don't think the city's appropriations are done yet to be turned in. And, I mean, when I looked over the form, it is very general. It's not asking for, plans or actual, it can be very general and kind of nebulous, really. I know I looked up our request last year, and for like the fire department ambulance station, we asked for $2 million. Just, I don't know where that number came from. They came up with that, and we ended up getting $1 million this year. That's what we're using to build it now. So, it's not like you're set in stone, or it has to be something really, drawn out. I mean, you just have to fill out the form. And I'm looking over it, I mean, it is 9 or 12 pages or something. But there is an online version that you can fill out that actually is how they submit it. So I don't know, you don't want to fill out a paper form, you fill out the thing online and send it. And it's got there's also a guide that tells you more information. It tells you what boxes to fill out, which I thought was very helpful when I looked over it. So I don't really think it's too hard to fill out. We can get it done this week. But the thing, like you said, and I'm willing to do it and work with Michael on it, the thing is that we have to come up with the ask. Are we asking for money to pay the school district for the property? Or are we asking for money for the building? And that's also kind of, I know one of the questions in there is, do you own the property? Which we don't. So that might be, I mean, it doesn't preclude you from getting funding, it just as one of the questions, yes or no. So I think we just have to come up with, I mean, I can just come up with a number and request that, but I think that, it's, I don't wanna miss the cycle and have to wait till next year. So I mean, I think we should try and do something. I just don't know how we want to form it. Like, what are we asking for? That's the real crux. So, I mean, if someone, if we have some guidance on that,
So, is everyone in agreement that we should act now? I believe so.
Well, I think we should discuss what we're asking for, and then answer that question.
Yeah.
But one of the goals is to make the school board whole. When I say whole, one of the goals is to get them some funds so they can be justified before the public in accepting our offer. That's one of the goals.
And I can just add to that, over Thanksgiving, I got to talk to a few people with some familiarity with the county dealings, I'll just put it that way. And what was mentioned to me was that, the school board buying the property out on 308 to build the school was not an expected expenditure, and that money came out of the bond fund. And I think John, do you remember the amount for the property? I can look it up. I don't remember do you remember how much it was that they paid for that property?
$650,000.
Okay, so,
Right in that area, maybe
So-
it's
so the
625, I
yeah,
don't
it was-
remember, but
it was,
right in that area.
yeah, it was a $650,000 expenditure that was not planned to come out of that budget, out of that committee, out of the bond fund. And if we were to be able to, like John said, make them whole, get them money to replace that, then it would go a long way to letting them let go of that property and give it to us. Now I can't say who said that, but that was the feeling and kind of the sentiment that I gathered. So, that could come to that question. I mean, if we could request that much money for the state legislature, but we would also have to kind of talk to the superintendent and make sure that he knows what we're doing. And it's not a guarantee that we're gonna get it, so, but I mean, that's one thing that we can, ask and request.
I don't think we can put that in as a reason,
Yeah, that's,
our request. We have to have a
but
legitimate reason to,
I mean, if we just call that the purchase price of the school,
yes.
and then we request that
That
from the
would make
state.
sense.
But that was what I gathered from my conversations, that if we could come up with that money and pay that in the bond fund, they would be, more willing to just let go of the school. Because either that, or if they give us the school, they're gonna want to still keep parcel C and sell it. Which, as we know, has some issues. And I don't think there's no way they're gonna get $650,000 out of it. So, I don't know, but that is, it's just new information that I learned. But it makes sense to me, I mean.
All right. And we're gonna ask, you're proposing that we ask for money for the purchase of the property.
Right.
All right,
That's option, yes.
so then we need to, we as a committee need to give you some guidelines on what we're gonna ask for.
Yeah, I was trying to find that form again that I had, because it does have quite a few boxes. You emailed that to me, didn't you, Danny?
I think you ask for the moon and hope you get it.
Well, like I said, we requested, we had asked for $2 million for the ambulance station, we got 1, so, based on that experience, we might want to double it, so that if we get half. And there's no telling with having a new rep and a new state senator representing us if we'll get anything. At least the state senator, Tom Leak, used to be the Speaker of the House. So he's moved over to the Senate because he turned down the House. And he lives in Orland Beach and he covers our area and represents us. So it's not like he's his first year in office. It's his first year in the Senate, but he knows the way around everything. He's a very well-known and powerful person. So it would be good if we could get to know him a little better.
All right, we're gonna go before the school board and we're gonna tell them that it's not worth more than 800,000. So we need to ask for more than just the property.
So what should that figure be?
What is this that Bassett has said to us for this?
It should relate to the property and the improvements needed to bring it into operation.
Yes.
What about the building cost, taxes, insurance?
Well, there's no taxes.
Should that be, thank you, yes. Should that be, part of this request?
You're talking about the 100,000 that talks.
Annually, yes.
Yes.
Well, we have to be careful about asking for operating funds. They don't usually like that. We can ask for capital funds, to make purchases or improvements to capital assets, but if it's like an ongoing, or just an operating thing, they usually don't like to fund that.
Yes.
I think just because they think we'll come back again and again and again and ask for it and we won't, and the money will be lost as an investment if they don't give us.
It should be about the purchase of the property plus a portion of the improvements needed. That should be, to me, that's what we should be asking for.
Well, I think,
Commissioner Laurie, you're thinking.
yes, can you see the smoke coming out? I think we might need to talk to our friends, the superintendent, and see if, that is something that they would entertain. Because obviously, we have to ask the school board and go through that, but the superintendent can give us kind of a feeling about whether that's a workable option, because he has to support it before it goes to the board. I think if we approached them and asked them about that, and give them an amount and see what he says. But see, that really so many moving things all at the same time. I think that would be the next step, is to ask the superintendent if that would work and come up with a price.
Okay,
And then,
we're asking for money to purchase the property plus improvements. The next step is, how do we turn around and give some of that money to the school board?
well, if we're
Does that
purchasing,
make any sense?
we're purchasing the property, if we just call it a straight out purchase, and we're asking for that money, then when we get it and close on the property, we'll pay them that money. So, and really, we can ask for money for the purchase and improvements and hope that we at least get the purchase price and that will get us started.
How would we justify giving some of that money to the school board?
Well, it's in exchange, we're purchasing the property from them. And that number just seems to be equal to what they spent before on that other property. I think I mean, that kind of negates all the, research and stuff that we're doing with the title, but I think that would, I don't know, it's my feeling that those numbers could just be similar, and we can just come together with that. I mean, it's an ask, I don't know. The other thing that I'm gonna do is Shondell, who used to work for, who was Bobby Payne. He worked in Bobby Payne's office, he now works in the circuit court, or the clerk of the court's office. And I have a good relationship with her. That's obviously, she used to work for the representative, and she might be able to give me some advice on how to form the appropriation so that it will pass muster. Obviously, she doesn't work in the office anymore, but she has a lot of experience doing this for years. So I think maybe running it by her, I was gonna talk to her and see what she suggests.
Commissioner Lloyd, when are the requests considered and approved?
The session starts in March. The committees start meeting this month. And so they will be going through the preliminary stuff already, starting, I believe, next week. So the, appropriations they start going through them in January, I believe. So it's gotta be as soon as possible.
So, so approval in March, then?
Yeah, and that's when the session starts, that the general session is.
Yeah, but there's a lot of committees
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah, because everything has to go through the committee, and they start that already, so,
I think if you waited till February,
that's too late.
the time that you're done, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
It has to be done now if we're gonna do it.
Now's the time. So again, what amount should we request?
1.6 million.
I would go with 2 million.
That's mental telepathy. I was thinking that too.
And even if we get half,
Yeah.
and the school board's willing to let it go for 650 or 850, at least we have the money to cover the purchase of the property.
Mhm.
Then
And then just
we'll
start
go with
improvements. Because if we're requesting it as far as purchasing the land and also relocating City Hall there, because that's, step 2 would be moving City Hall into the, the one classroom building to start out with, or the main building, but I think the main building still needs to be renovated. I mean, if we form the request as that, it's not only purchasing the property, but also relocating City Hall and the county services over there, because that would be the next step. And if that would make it a little bit better, I think, that would make the whole ask a lot more applicable, I think. In my mind, I don't know, I'm not.
All right, another question. If we put the request in and we're not as successful as we would like to be this year, is there any detriment in asking this year and we want to go back to the well next year? Is there any problem?
No, I believe in one of the questions on the form is, have you filed this request before? And was it funded or not? And so they can kind of track it and see. I mean, I've seen stuff, a legislative appropriation requests that have been the same thing year after year after year, that might not have gotten funded for 4 years, and then the 5th year they do. It's all, I don't think it's detrimental. And it's not, in my opinion.
So how does everyone feel about asking for 2 million?
You can,
I make a suggestion.
shoot for the stars.
I thought we were.
Are you comfortable with that figure?
That would be great. I can work with that.
That asking figure?
Yeah.
Do you think we should ask for more?
No. I think, if we were asked like $5 million or something, we're not gonna get that. I mean, there's, colleges and universities that are very popular and that don't get their stuff funded. And, even if we get it in the appropriation, the governor still has line item veto. He can go through and just cross it all out, so even if we get it in the budget, it's not assured. But it's, I mean, I don't think it hurts to ask.
So should, well, we all agree, do we need a motion? Karen?
Yes,
Yes, I think you do.
yes, because you're
You
saying
need
a
a
number.
motion as to, are we gonna proceed this year or wait till next year?
And who would like to make that motion?
Make sure you state the number in there and when you're applying for that.
Yes.
Say it again.
To make sure you have the, number in there that you're asking for,
Yes,
and to make sure you, apply it to whenever you're applying for the grant.
Fiscal year, like you mentioned.
If
Yeah.
you, so if you're saying we're not gonna apply for it till next year, then you need to state that
yes,
In the motion.
yeah, that's,
in the motion.
yeah, yes, I think the motion should include the figure, and should we proceed this year?
I'll make that motion that we apply for the $2 million grant and we start, this year applying for
Is there a second?
Okay, I'll second it.
Thank you. All those in favor,
it. Aye.
aye? Aye. Nays? Any nays? No nays. Motion approved. Yes.
It's the fiscal year, October of 24 through September of 25.
The city fiscal year runs that way. It starts in October. The state starts in July for some reason.
Okay, so we're in,
It's June, yeah, so we're in fiscal year
So
24,
July
25.
1st to June
It'll
30th.
end to June 30.
okay,
So
so
we're-
that would be specified the fiscal year 24 to 25.
So that's what we're in. This would be fiscal year 2025 that we're gonna ask for.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no idea why the state does that.
Right,
Why we're not on the same schedule. It's weird.
our interim city manager, have you talked about this with him?
I have not.
Is he able to help you?
He should be able to help me. I believe he's doing the other ones, because we are asking for other appropriations. We do every year. There's multiple things, for water main projects, more money for the fire station. So those have to all be filled out. I believe is the mayor, Karen, do you know? Is the mayor working on this with Michael, or do you have any idea?
I have no idea.
I know, when she gave you the paperwork, I think she's working on the other ones. Those are easy, because those we have asked for before. The last year, we asked for many of the same projects we're asking for this year, as far as the water main projects and stuff like that. So she just had to kind of copy the information, but this will be from scratch. But I can check with her and Michael. I'm sure the one of them can help me.
I think you need advice from people who have done this, and
Well, and I can pull up last year's that they did and look at them and see, and I can ask Shondell, she can help and look it over and tell me what she thinks. So we'll get it handled. I'll get it handled.
So if needed, you'll explore assistance.
Yes.
Professional help.
And I will definitely have some people look it over before I submit it, so.
Thank you. Any more, John?
I think I've done it.
Thank you for your fine report, as always.
Anyway,
Next is a title report opinion.
Yes, I do not have the report yet. I emailed Mr. Gullett yesterday and just re-verified with him that he has everything he needs, and if there was a problem or miscommunication about what was going on, because obviously he promised us this at the end of October. And he emailed me back this morning at 8:08 a.m. and I'm just gonna read you the email. It says, "Good morning. There's not been confusion or miscommunication. It is all my fault. I am low on personal bandwidth right now. However, I have reviewed again over the weekend and 3.5 hours already this morning. I should have a very near final draft, if not the final, to you gentlemen today." That's from JJ Gullett. I do know that they're moving our office out of the old police department, the police station at 117 North Summit, to Jay Asbury's old office or house across the street there. And they've been going, they were on a month-to-month lease with us since last year. And the city commission finally decided at our last meeting that to give them a date certain, they had to be out by the end of November, which was this weekend. I don't think they're out, but I know that there's been a lot of work going on at the house. They finally, coincidentally, there's been a lot of activity. So there's been people living there every day that I've been by. So I think they're working on getting out of there. So that just happens to be, coinciding with this project. But as he said, he should have something today. And as soon as I get it, I will get it to Karen to send out. So.
Wonderful, thank you. And I'd like to add that their new building looks terrific.
It does. And they got rid of that bush that was trying to take over the place, and it does look much improved.
Anything else, Commissioner?
No,
On that? Thank
not on
you.
that, sorry.
In REG, they were out, was it last week?
Yes, on Tuesday they were there. I went down and introduced myself to the guy. What was his name, Rachel? Remember? Omar, yeah. He was walking through with the school district employee. He was showing him around and where they were going. And I went down there, introduced myself, and just told him if he needed anything to give me a call. And I believe he was there probably most of the day, but I think he got everything finished. The one thing that I discussed with him was the downstairs of that main building, of building one, is, the basement is really kind of scary and dirty. Well, it's, no one's been in there. I don't know. I told him that, it's up to them if he wants to scan the downstairs. I don't know if that's, but he would make that decision. So,
Why wouldn't he?
it's, I don't know, it's pretty moldy and, I don't know. I don't know if it's even, if you had a respirator or something, I wouldn't go in there if it was me. I'm just saying, that downstairs has been, and it's been closed up with no air conditioning or anything running. And, I wouldn't go down there. I can't. but-
Well, I would.
I would,
And.
But hopefully he did. I don't know. That was one thing. I told him, I discussed with him if he was going to go down there, that was the one thing that was up to him as far as if he felt safe.
And I feel important to go through it
Mhm.
to see how sound it is, if there are any problems. So perhaps we could make those arrangements
I'm sorry, I didn't.
to view the basement.
Oh, to view it? No, okay. Anytime you guys want to go down there, you can, we can have Travis Woods send somebody out to let us in. I can't go down there, it's not
We're
accessible.
talking about
Sure.
the basement in the main building.
Big building one, yes.
We're not talking about the gymnasium.
No.
no.
Down.
Well, we used to eat lunch.
Yes, or had.
Surely you ate lunch in there.
Yeah,
That's where the cafeteria was.
Seventh and eighth grade classes were down there
Yeah.
when you were. a
yeah, the
senior
science
high.
class.
But by the time I went to school there, which I know obviously was it was later than you, we did not use that downstairs, except there's lockers down there. I think our lockers were there. We didn't use any of the rooms down there. And I don't think they've been used for a long time. So I don't know.
Well, perhaps we could arrange something next week.
I think so, yeah. We can-
It's valuable square footage.
Mhm.
Probably the safest place in South Putnam County.
Oh, yeah, I
Yes.
would rather if there was a nuclear weapon, World War III was happening, for sure.
So is the scan complete then?
He
You
was,
just did
yeah,
it was short, just did it one day?
yeah.
Wow, okay. I was under
I
the
mean-
impression it'd take a long time.
Yeah, you just have to set the machine up and it kind of spins around with lasers and, it's kind of cool. But I think he said he was here at like 8 o'clock on Tuesday. I went out there at 9 and he'd already started the one building, the media center. So,
Ron, is the basement the full area of the building? Ronnie, is the basement, does that run the entire length of building one? Okay, so it's
a hallway and it goes down like an L,
all the way down to the gym,
from the,
the door goes out there.
is there,
That was used basically as the head custodian's office and storage. Nothing's been done to it for years. And there's probably still stuff stored down there.
The buildings on this side of the street, they are not over the basement. It's just the hallway and the buildings on the rooms on the west east side are over the,
No, there's no rooms on the west side of the
Right.
building. They're all on the east side toward the lake.
that are over the basement,
And then
correct?
the cafeteria went underneath the main office.
Which was the home ec.
Right.
As I recall, there were only like 2 or 3 classrooms.
1, 2, 3, 4. There's
At least 4.
Kelly Board, Art Slate, Curly DeLong. Who else was down there?
Ralph Miller had one down there.
Ralph Miller, yeah, but when you first go in, there's 2 of them on your left. And then there's a hallway and 2 fairly large classrooms past the hallway toward the side of the building.
Yeah,
And then you have the cafeteria on the right,
yes.
which went under the office.
would it be correct to say that there's not as much square footage downstairs as what we would say upstairs?
Probably not.
Okay, I thought it was configured, it's weird
And
configured.
there was a big storage room off of the cafeteria as well.
Yes,
Don't know what it was for, but
we
it
sold
was used
candy
as
out there.
classroom and I took physics down there, so.
We all have memories sometimes.
Should we, consider a date to tour?
I'll ask Michael to get a hold of them and see what, I mean, we could probably do it after our next meeting, if we can have some down here. But I'll have to ask Michael to contact him. And I'll get back to you. And if we want to set the next meeting time, then we can just do it.
Following that, that's a good idea,
Yeah.
thank you. Timeline is next.
If Michael was here, I think he gave us that at the last meeting, the timeline from REG, correct? Is that what we're talking about?
Well,
Our timeline for everything?
for everything, so we've added today, request for funding, submittal approval times. Anything else?
I think, well, with REG too, the next thing on their list is to come down here and have a meeting with us and I think consult on the project. I think they have that down for January, so we'll have to see how that works.
And we'll have to put in a request to extend the life of our committee.
Yes. Next week is our commission meeting. I need to put together a status report for the commission. And in that, I will request the extension of the life of the BRC, probably for 90 days. That puts us at the end of March.
Why not do it for 6 months?
I mean, I can, if that's what you would like to. I mean, it is awkward to keep coming back and asking for extension, so 6 months would probably be, more efficient. But I will have the update and I'll put it together first to look at next week, just so you guys can add anything or let me know what you think. I wrote one 3 months ago and then kind of added to it the next one. So I have kind of a beginning to it and I'll just put in the information. We have had a lot of progress, so I'll try and detail that.
Wonderful, thank you. And obviously, I'll be at the meeting to make comment or any questions and support you.
Thank you.
Partnerships. That's a pending issue, of course, and developing. And obviously, I'm exploring all partnership possibilities. Old business, any old business? New business? Other business discussions?
Did you want to, or discuss this appraisal?
Yes.
The addendum to the appraisal, I haven't had a chance to read through the whole thing, but.
Yes, delighted that we have it. It's, deals with C, parcel C. As you can see, it's 4 pages. And the bottom line, the rough is opinion value of the 5-acre vacant lot is $350,000.
Okay. So that reduces it from the 500,000 that he had valued that piece at? Is that correct?
That's right, yes. So,
That's good.
and so it's good news, wonderful news. And also we have the aerial of the lot, of course, which shows the shore frontage and the area where the retention pond is along the shore. Are there any public comments at this time?
If I may, please.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, for the record, Danny Miller. A few observations. First, as regards the REG scanning of the building. We have basements in both the main building, I believe that's building 1, and also the gymnasium, which presumably is pretty bad and rat infested. As I think about this project, it's not unlike buying a somewhat decrepit old house and wanting to bring it back. And of course, you bring the architect in and have them look it over. And you don't want to have the architect skip over the ugly parts. The ugly parts are the ones that might perhaps be the greatest concern. So I respectfully suggest that it is critical that REG also evaluate not only the main building basement, but the gym basement. Also would like to offer some observations regarding the conversation on funding. Quickly, you had mentioned that the application asks, is the property owned? If that's an obstacle, perhaps by the time the application is submitted, it might be under contract, and that may help. In terms of the amount, it kind of begs the question of what is available. We know that there's a special category grant. Perhaps that might be available in addition to the $2 million that was suggested. And then perhaps REG, though it's kind of early, they might be in a position to provide kind of a horseback guess as to the cost of bringing back building 1 at least. In terms of the purchase price, I think I heard that the appraisal review is $350,000, and then did I hear that the offer to the school might be $800,000? There seems to be a disconnect there. And if they think that it might fetch that, perhaps in any potential offer, the offer might be at the presumed market value, but with the city having an opportunity to meet any bona fide offer, and then the school district having an opportunity to go market and the market has a way of educating us as to the true value of things. And then lastly, I think I picked up that the ask to the legislature would be to fund the purchase price. Yet I heard that they know, do you want to own it? I don't know if there's a reluctance to them, the legislature funding the actual purchase, but perhaps if there is some reluctance in funding that purchase, perhaps it might be viewed from a different perspective. And that is that the city purchases it as money out of one pocket, but the legislative appropriation would offset an equal amount of expense that the city would otherwise incur. I don't know how those, how that might work. It's essentially money out of one pocket and into the other from the city's perspective, if purchase funding is an obstacle for the legislature. And then lastly, I think I heard that the city is putting in a number of additional funding requests. No surprise there, but perhaps I think I'd suggest it'd be very important to get an idea of where in a request related to the school, where it is in the priority list for the city. Because if it's not at the top priority, it's not going to get the consideration that this committee might feel that it warrants. Thank you for the opportunity to offer input.
Thank you.
And I can speak to the priority thing. I mean, appropriations don't really get ranked by priority. They go in and the representatives will look at it. Each one, has a different category that it falls under. Water and wastewater projects are one part of the bill. You have cultural projects and historic projects of another part. So it's not really like this is number 1, 2, 3. This is what we want, and what we get is what they give us. I mean, you're sitting there with our hands out asking. So the only thing that would make it any difference is when our city commissioners and the League of Cities goes to Tallahassee in March to visit our legislators, which everyone else is welcome to go. It is a much more powerful ask when you show up and plead your case. So I haven't done one of those in 20 years, but I plan on doing it in March. So we have, the Florida League of Cities has our Tallahassee Day, I forgot the Capitol Day. It's actually 3 days. We go up to Tallahassee and we bug them all. So I know that from experience before, it makes a big difference if you show up and you can give them some more information, and especially the staff as well, and then you can show the support. I mean, it means a lot to a representative when his office is full of people from Crescent City.
If you're gonna let us know what that date is,
Mhm.
and I'm sure that, I know I'll be there.
Okay.
And I'm sure others will be too. The other important point was not only the state consideration or priorities, but the cities, how Crescent City commissioners will rank this in their list of requests.
I mean, like I said, there's not a ranking, there's a list. And basically, the ones that were from last year that didn't get funded kind of go first, and then you add stuff to it. I mean, I don't think there's not a priority list. It doesn't matter which is the first thing you ask for. Because like I said, they each go to a different part of the budget.
So it doesn't make any difference if Crescent City says, okay, this is our third priority.
They all go in alphabetical order based on what the name of the project is under our city. So priority is based on where it is in the alphabet. So.
Yes. However, when meeting in person, opinion can be given.
Mhm.
And so it would be good to know that this request is high on the city's request.
I mean, you could ask the commission about that. All I can say is when we approved the projects and the appropriations 2 months ago, this was not discussed at the time, and we didn't rank them as far as what was most important and what wasn't.
What is your ranking on it?
Was my ranking on it?
Yes.
I spend most of my time working on this project since I was elected last year, so for me, it's number one.
I'm not
Takes up all of my
surprised.
time.
I'm not surprised. Thank you very much.
I've been getting up
Yes.
every week at 9 AM to come here.
If I may offer one comment along those lines, there will be lots of opportunity to lobby this, both at the district office level and in Tallahassee. And in those conversations, there'll be ample opportunity, there typically is, to say, we're supplicants and here are the requests, but this one here is really critical importance to the future of the city industry. It's all in the selling. And those one-on-one contacts, that's where the true tone, that's where the tone is set. And convince those folks, our incoming senator, for instance, who apparently is a very politically powerful fellow, that this is really critical. You can pick up on that and convey that sense of urgency. It probably counts for as much as a perfectly prepared piece of paperwork.
Commissioner Laurie, in filling out this request, do you think it would be an advantage if the city has approved or given its endorsement?
By submitting it, we're giving it an endorsement. And I don't, what was the mayor's response when you were talking to her about doing this appropriation? I mean, what did she say?
And, well, she was positive about this project when I talked to her about it. But I guess when you say, when we put in the request, that is approval by the city.
Yes. And I'm not sure if if it has to come before the city commission next week to get there to approve it, to make the request. I think that would probably be,
If we went before the city, I don't see why they would not approve it.
Right.
I mean,
But I still think that
we have a track record, we started out at a $4 million assessment and now it's down to 800. And all we're asking to do is, stick with us and we'll prove we can perform.
I mean, I don't think it would be a problem getting approved, but I think it might be appropriate.
You still have to get it approved.
Yeah,
Because
because I
you
mean,
guys are an advisory board.
yeah, because it is a request actually through the city. So if we can do the paperwork and let the commission approve it next week and then it can go to Tallahassee.
Okay.
Because I mean, we can as the BRC, or you as the BRC, put in a request, because you are advisory, like Karen says. So I mean, but if we do all the work and you've done the work, we've done the work, and I don't see, like you said, there's no reason that the city would not approve it because it's not asking for any money from them. We're asking for money for them,
Yes.
from the state. So, and I don't see any downside, like I said, to asking, and if we don't get it, ask next year, we've got to be prepared for that as an option. We've got to be prepared for the fact that we might not get it. In fact, I would say we probably won't, because most appropriations are not funded, or are funded at half or something like that. So it all matters when it gets to budget time at the end, and they have to make a number work, and they start crossing through things or halving things in half. And there's no telling how that works. It's different every time. But it doesn't hurt to ask. All it is a little bit of time put in, and disappointment if we don't get it, but elation if we do. So I mean, this needs to be plan A, but we need to have B, C, and D in as well. And if anybody knows the governor, it would be really great to talk to him. I'm a co-defendant with him, but that's it. I don't get to talk to him. I talk to his lawyers. Actually, my lawyer talks to his lawyers.
As far as meeting with Charlie Douglas again, a lot of that depends on the work with
Title.
Charlie. Once that's complete, then I think we can meet with him.
Okay. I was gonna ask you if we had a meeting with him yet, but I think we need, yeah, once we get that, we can have a little bit more information, because I mean, and that's what I conveyed to Mr. Gully yesterday was, you know, we're all waiting. We're waiting patiently for you, to send this to us. So I guess it got through to him. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, he said we'd have it at the end of the week before, and that was a month ago, so I don't know.
Well, very good. Moving on, we have agenda, or there, items new items that should be placed on our next meeting agenda.
I have a question about this appraisal. Is this appraisal for $350,000 is just for the vacant lots south of the school? Is that correct?
Yeah,
That is correct.
Okay, I thought that's how much for.
and this is an addendum to the
Exactly.
review of the appraisal, which was based on the first appraisal that is the school
I
district.
just
had
wanted
done.
that clarified. Thank you.
Because those retention ponds that I found. It is a beautiful piece of land though, if you go out there and stand where the track was. That's a heck of a bluff
Mhm.
going into the lake.
As always, if anyone has an item to be placed on the next agenda, just contact Karen. Our next meeting date. Should we meet next week?
Yeah. Yes. Hopefully we'll have a title opinion to talk about. And got my fingers crossed.
Yeah.
And my toes and
So, should it be, same time?
same bat time, same bat channel.
Yes.
Is that what they used to say? Batman. Adam West.
That's the 10th.
Yes. The 10th, Joe, yes, yes, and then, BJ, can we say that you recommend do a tour of the basements?
I will ask, Michael to come towards. And set that up for like 10 o'clock. Because if we have the meeting at 9, we should be done by 10.
Yes, that'd be wonderful, thank you,
Okay.
and all basements.
Okay. Might want to bring,
I'm gonna stay right there.
There's always been rats in the gym.
yeah,
No,
no,
I'm
Always.
not going.
that's why we
No,
have
I've
to
been
do
in
the
there,
new locker
and
rooms.
Ross was working.
My sister used to talk about going
So,
down.
yeah, because the girl got bitten by a rat.
Oh, really?
And taking her basket.
Yeah, you know, you might want to bring a respirator or mask or something just in case. I don't know, that basement has been closed up for a long time.
I've been in commercial spaces like that with, Astoria old hotels,
Mhm.
so I'm quite experienced. And I'm still here.
Yeah, we went.
I can say you're gonna have a problem, I just don't, you have an allergy or cough and dust and stuff like that. mold.
No,
Yeah, last August, we went through a tour of the basement.
Yeah, that's what, yeah, Rachel was.
And thank you for your caution on
I don't have to go down there, I can't, so,
it. Perhaps we'll take a video for you.
okay, that'd be great. I still remember what it looked like when I was in 7th grade, so I wonder how it changed. I have one of those photographic things.
And with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
Only so moved.
Second. All those approved to adjourn, aye? Aye. We are adjourned, thank you all.